Hey everyone, how's it going? Hey Usain, nice to see you. Good to see everyone, nice to see you guys. We'll get started very soon. So go through what's on the market, and then I will go over my positions as well, and then we'll take it from there. All right. So um, good morning. Good morning. I'm still in Binance Coin. I originally had a target at about 400 or so. I saw the move pushing up, so I thought that I want to extend the target a little bit to, I think it was 500 that I set. But we'll see how this move goes. If this is going to push down, followed by a correction to push down lower, then I'll exit for about 3% or so, roughly like that. But if this move continue upwards, then I will extend my take profit to the next kind of a round number. That's kind of how I do it when I see all-time high and things like that. I think it's currently running about 3.5% or something, 3.5% roughly like that. I'll set an alert somewhere like this just to see what the price will do. And if it, like I said, if it drops down, if it forms correction, I'm happy to exit for, about 3%. But if it continue going up, then I will look to hold. Okay. That is Binance Coin, and Stellar is the other position. So Stellar, I'm in. I didn't get tag out here. I'm still at break even. Um, this does look like a head and shoulder now that I look after it, but I'm still holding it. I'll see what happens here. Happy to just let this is going to push up again or not. But either way, I couldn't secure more profit. I'll just get one-to-one anyway. I see the bigger potential when I see the overall move on stock. I still pretty aggressively, so I do want to see this move continue to the upside more. Okay, so that is Stellar. Let me finish my breakfast. After 3 weeks of exam, I see. Nice to see you. Nice to see you back. What else am I in? Well, I'm in a few currency positions. I'll go over them rather quickly. I think Euro Kiwi. I think a lot of us got in on either Euro Kiwi or Euro Aussie, right? I think it's pretty simple. We were looking at this. I talk about this in my weekly stream recap, right? We talk about the bottom, all the way from the bottom here. We push up the price already. Impulse correction, right? So another correction here, and I mentioned this in the weekly outlook. We should be looking for potential continuation from this move. And really the main target would be at the top here, at the top of this descending channel. And I like how we have impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. Okay, that is Euro Kiwi. I'll go over pound yen. I think a lot of you guys get in on pound yen as well, based on what I saw in the group. I think a lot of you guys either got in on here or got in on here. Really doesn't matter because we talk about this move all the way from here already. Excuse me, guys. So I talk about pound yen all the way when it's still in this ascending channel, right? We talk about when we're facing these kind of price action, when the price goes all the way to the double top, M style pattern is a very high if you're able to capture a position somewhere in here or somewhere here. I personally opt in when I enter somewhere here, when I see this move down, when I finally see something that direction, but maybe on the 5-minute time frame. So if that's in your plan, I saw some of you guys execute here, so that's fine. I was looking for at least a little bit bigger correction, at least something that's more visible in it. So I was looking at this correction, set an entry order, set the stop loss above, and price tag me in, and then eventually push down now. So main target will be just at the lows of this correction. This previous low here. I think it's about 5.821. Liking the M style pattern, liking the double top, liking everything I see. So expecting this move all the way down to here. And Last position I'm in is pound dollar. So talk about pound dollar all the way from the top. We know that there's ascending channel. I keep mentioning about this is that we broke out of the ascending channel. This is what that is key for me is that we have a breakout on a higher time frame reversal correction. So it's very likely that we're going to get a very good continuation from the price. So I was looking at this piece here. I was looking at this overall correction. And we all know how correction should be, right? At least 2 swing highs, 2 swing lows. And within this correction as well. So ascending channel within the larger continuation correction. And I was looking for a potential entry. I see a reversal correction up here. So impulse entry order here, stop loss above the high, and pretty much pushing down now. So these are the positions that are in. So I have pound dollar, pound yen, euro kiwi. They're all 3 positions here that are running. And I also have Binance Coin and what is it? Like Stellar. Okay, so these are the 5 positions I'm running. So let's continue now. Let's continue now. I'll move this over here. Hey everyone, nice to see all you guys on TradingView. Nice to see you guys. Not really seeing anything else, but let's start with currency first. I think a lot of you guys are looking at currency markets, so we'll take a look and then we'll go from there. Morning, Rolando. Hey, Rolando, I saw you writing a message, but I think it got deleted by YouTube. I think I saw a comment, but I think it got deleted or something. But maybe you're saying something good, but I didn't get a chance to read it. Okay. I'm on pound yen also. Good job. Yeah. I mean, pound yen is something that we all be looking at when I see this, right? I got these kind of a harsh comment from people. I'll just kind of take a look I got these harsh comment from people, things like that, but I don't really phase from it because, being a trader is about controlling your self emotion, right? Your ego and stuff like that. No point trying to what do you call it? Let those affect you, okay? Because everyone's entitled to their opinion. If they don't like your analysis, they don't like your analysis, right? But you don't need to prove to them. You let the result prove to them, and if they see what's going on, they will understand, right? So everyone trades differently. So I learned that a long time ago to not let others comment or their feedback or whatever. Usually that may affect you in a negative way. Don't let that happen, right? So. Yeah, you're welcome. I always share my positions here, by the way. I always share my positions in the streams if I can. So why don't we get started now, guys? Why don't we get started now with the with the market week daily update? If I can't talk. Let's get started with the New York session market update. Let's go through the currency pair first, and then we'll go from there. All right. I'm gonna go in order, Island Boy. I'm going in order. Okay, I don't jump around too much, so I'm gonna start with currency first. If you see on my right, this is the order I'm gonna go in. All right. I'll talk about Kiwi CAD as well. Sure. I will talk about Kiwi CAD. I will do crypto after I do Forex, so just bear with me. If you have something you want me to take a look, you can write it down. But I'm going in order, guys. So it's gonna be a lot to go over, but that's how I do it. So let's start with dollar index first. Okay, let's start with dollar index first. What I see dollar index, I think I talk about this in the weekly outlook on Monday, is higher time frame. You can expect this is potentially a continuation of the bearish trend. On the higher time frame though, I mean on the lower time frame though, I can still argue that this can be somewhat of a bullish price action. Okay, so it's important to kind of just still understand that there's two possibilities here. This can just be a pullback or a correction before the next up move, which is what we have seen in the past here. Okay, so I still don't see a clear bias or a clear direction on the dollar because this can argue both ways. And that's probably also why for euro dollar, it's you can kind of argue both way as well. I can see people are looking, and I can see that some of us are still looking for a short. Okay, so that's why being a little bit more patient, I think it's really key here. Lower time frame is looking to still be bullish. Okay, and higher time frame looks like it can be a long-term continuation of the bearish trend. So I prefer to just wait a little bit longer, right? It's too early to tell. Like this move is corrective in my eye. I don't see it as a impulsive move, which is what we usually want to see, right? So this move looks more as a corrective move, and I want to see if we can just break up off that and continue. Okay. So that is dollar. So let's go over a few dollar positions that I'm looking at. Thank you, Rolando. Appreciate that. I'll take a look after all this. So let's look at Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar looks like we're getting a correction here. I've been talking about this area for such time. Already pushed down from this from this rising wedge. Sorry. So impulse correction. This is a larger correction. We push down again, and now like we're seeing another correction here. So this is to see if we're going to get a continuation correction to go down lower, or we're going to get a deeper consolidation here. I prefer to see this correction. We need this is at least a completion of a correction, just like what we have seen in the past. And this can be a continuation for the previous bearish move. Okay, so I want to see what will happen pretty much in this latest bit of the correction here. You can see there is a kind of a correction within the larger correction that I mentioned. So this looks like also it's almost ready as well. So if this move can break out, and certainly this overall correction can be complete, right? And then we can expect the next downside, which is what we want to see. That also kind of favor the dollar strength as well. We want to see continuation of this bearish move. And if you look at the higher time frame, this is kind of what we're seeing, right? To me, I'm not really seeing a bullish bias. I'm seeing it more as a bearish bias. I did see this head and shoulder pattern as well. And you can see there's a small kind of a flag here as well, right? Impulse correction, looking for the next impulse. Okay, so that is still kind of what I'm seeing on Aussie dollar. I still want to see area valuation. Can be an inverse head and shoulder. Talking about this, certainly it's possible, right? I don't want to discount that. But of course, we're going to see patterns everywhere. We're going to see structures everywhere. So the way how I always look at this, right? So what is the higher time frame telling us? Higher time frame, to me at least, is this is a reversal structure. We have an impulse out of this reversal structure. There is clearly continuation correction. So the higher time frame bias to me is bearish, right? So on the lower time frame, you're likely to see, if you go down to the lower time frame, you're likely to see different biases, right? Different biases. You can argue there is an inverse head and shoulder, and I agree that is what's going on. But I also have to see that the impulsive move is bearish, right? I still see this overall trend is bearish. And if we can get a completion of a correction here to break out, then obviously the inverse head and shoulder is no longer valid. And this continuation structure is just correcting this move, and we're going down afterwards. So that's kind of how I see that. Okay. But like you said, there's definitely something here. There's definitely an inverse head and shoulder, and that's definitely a confluence that may push the price higher, right? But we can never, there's no right and wrong, in my opinion, when it comes to something like this. It's just kind of following your plan and management, and I see this more is the current trend that I'm seeing. That's all. So let's move on to Kiwi dollar now. So Kiwi dollar, I want to talk about Kiwi dollar. Um, Kiwi dollar looks very similar like Aussie dollar, right? So this is the same impulse, same correction, same impulse, same correction. So what do we expect? This is what I talked about when price broke its previous low now. So correction the making, and we're right at this low. This is where I always want to look for what is going to happen at this low, because there's only can be only two things, right? This is the previous low of this correction. Either we're going to form some sort of reversal and then price is going to go up now, or we're going to form continuation, which is what I'm more leaning towards. I like how we're consolidating here. You can clearly tell that we're in a consolidation phase. We're not in the impulsive phase, right? This is a big difference of how we identify which phrase we're in, right? We're in an impulsive phrase. This is impulsive, right? There's not this black and white, right? When we're in the when we're in the corrective phrase, the price is correcting. So we're clearly in the corrective phrase, but whether or not if this is going to be reversal or continuation, that is for us to be a little bit more patient to wait for what's going to happen. I do like how there is forming a correction, right? We know that there's need to be at least two swing highs and two swing lows. And if you look closely, this looks more as a head and shoulder. Why it's more leaning me or favoring me towards the sell, right? If we look at the higher time frame here, very similar like Aussie dollar, we have that ascending channel, we have impulse for the next impulse. Okay, at least to the lows here, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that is Kiwi dollar. I just want to go a little bit more in depth on these two because I do see them potentially bearish run to the downside, right? So it's pretty much just a patient game here, waiting to see what will happen in this correction, just like how we waited for this correction to happen and then next impulse down, right? Stellar, yeah, all the crypto I'll go over after. I am in still Stellar for break even. Euro Aussie, I will go over that, no problem. So let's continue. I briefly went over euro dollar, but I want to talk about euro dollar because it's kind of the same thing like dollar index, right? I still reasonably see this move can go all the way down to this previous low. This is kind of what I want to see price push down to this previous low. If we see all the previous price action, to me, it's just still bearish. I know some of us or some people out there are looking for bullish, and yeah, if it's within their plan, sure. I just still see this as a continuation correction, just something like this, right? You see how this move pushes down. We took a much longer period of time to correct. And I remember during this time, this is beginning of February or whatever, I saw a bunch of people posting chart that this is going to take off, but it didn't, right? We have impulse, correction, impulse. So naturally, if this is going to be a steeper correction like this, I could still expect this to push down lower. Okay, so that's still my kind of a view right now. I still see this euro dollar to push down to this previous low. We already gone halfway already, right? We already pushed down halfway already. So it's about if this is going to be some sort of a deeper correction, just like what we have seen here, and then still push down the price afterwards. Okay. Moving on, pound dollar. I went over pound dollar briefly, but pound dollar, I thought I'd go over again really quick. I've been talking about pound dollar pretty much all the way since the beginning of this year, right? When we start first with this ascending channel on the top of the overall structure, higher time frame ascending channel is finally broken, right? I see this as an impulse, correction, impulse, right? So we pretty much impulse out of this higher time frame correction, which is kind of what I was waiting for. And I was looking to see if there's going to be a bigger correction to give us a potential entry. And just judging from what we're seeing right now, we push out of the correction, which is the first thing I would look for, and a bigger, deeper consolidation, a bigger correction is also very valid. And Going into a little bit deeper here, this is why multi-time frame analysis is important. When we're looking at this continuation correction, remember we always want to find two swing highs and two swing lows. More the better, right? More the better, but it doesn't have to be 3 or 5 or whatever. A correction or structure always just needs at least two swing highs and two swing lows. And it's better if within the correction there is more confluence, right? This is what I see as ascending channel pushing the price up within the larger structure. And I like about how we have an impulse up instead of a continuation correction, which kind of look like it's going to continue, but instead this is a reversal correction. So impulse, reversal correction, and then reversal impulse down. Reversal impulse down, you can kind of argue that this can be a head and shoulder as well. We just kind of push down very impulsively. We're breaking out of this structure now, which is good. So if there's more small correction here, I do expect this to push down past this low and at least towards the next kind of a swing low area, which is this area, which I'm targeting for about 5.3 to 1 or something like that. But because this correction looks really nice, we broke out of the higher time frame structure. If we can just continue more and more impulsively, I'm likely to hold this trade because I've been talking about this for months now, right? When we break out of this higher time frame structure and when we have a continuation correction, this is likely to give us a very good bearish move to the downside. Okay, so that's what I see on pound dollar. Looking to see if we can get the really the strong bearish move out, breaking above and continuation to the downside. All right. Island Boy, I think I said that already. I'm going in order, so if you can be patient here, I'm gonna talk about Aussie yen, but I'm talking about so dollar CAD. What do I see on dollar CAD? Well, dollar CAD. Remember when I talk look that this is shaping up to be a right shoulder here. So it inverts head and shoulder. On the higher time frame, we have this clean descending channel, which is what I like. We are forming that double bottom area. These are looking like price higher. So I was waiting to see a completion of this right shoulder, right? So we talk about how on the bottom of this descending channel, we have this expanding structure and price pretty much impulse out of the structure. And then form this right shoulder here, which is good. So this is an impulse correction, looking for the impulse out. And then if there's more correction, I'll definitely get in on some. I think some of you guys probably already gotten from here or here. I think that's fine, as long as that fits your plan. But personally, I want to see if we can break out of this descending channel and then continuation very ideal. I think this after seeing a larger reversal structure completes. So let's move to some of you guys are looking at dollar yen now. So I want to talk about dollar yen because originally, remember, we always have a bias that when this price breaks out of this higher time frame structure, this is a key where we want to watch out for, right? So this massive impulse pushing out, if it's not complete with a continuation here to continue, then you might want to be a little bit careful because what if it start just reversing down, which is exactly what I've been telling everyone is we broke the trend line, great, but we need to wait for a continuation correction to prove that this bullish run will likely to continue, right? But if we don't get that, then that's a sign from the market that we might not get the continuation. We might just hit the top of the trend line and then we push down and then start reversing back down, which is kind of like what we're seeing here. If we kind of look at there was trying to build a correction here, it didn't happen. We pushed down. We look at the lower time frame, this impulse followed by a clear correction, and we impulse down again. And this looks like another correction here. So we want to be careful here. Is this going to be a correction to push the price lower? You want to be careful if you're in the buy here. Maybe some of you guys got in on the buy here, or maybe you got in the buy from all the way from the bottom. Nevertheless, it's watching out what will happen here. Is this going to form more push down from here, and then this becomes some sort of some sort of head and shoulder, this pulls back, and then continuation downwards, right? So you want to be careful. You want to be observing what will happen in this overall area. Currently, I really don't see a bullish move on the lower time frame, or at least the short term wise. This looks like it broke out, but just there's no continuation. Instead, it's just kind of falling. Preferably wait to see what will happen. A bigger development here would be more ideal. All right, so that is dollar yen. Do I review charts? You can post in my Telegram, or you can post in my group discussion, David. There's a lot of us in my group discussion chat. Let me see if I can find it. So if you join my Telegram, this is my Telegram. This is where I post everything. But I have a group discussion chat room where we talk about, we share charts and things like that. There's about 600 of us here. You're welcome to share charts, and everyone can take a look. Okay. To quickly go over Aussie Swiss finally is breaking down now, right? I remember when I talked about this impulse down followed by this correction, another impulse down. I was looking to see the price lower. Looks like we're doing that. Looks like we're pushing the price, and I want to see what we'll do when the price reaches this low. Very similar like Euro Aussie, by the way. Euro Aussie, Aussie Swiss, of course, they're pretty correlated. Only a correction here, and we're pushing down now. And Swiss, I think a lot of Swiss pairs are getting very strong as well, right? So let's move on. So the best day trader and swing trader, actually that is up to you, right? There's no best one. It's actually depending on how you what you see in the market. Do you want to be a day trader? A lot more risky, a lot more trades, a lot likely to overtrade, or you want to be a swing trader, having bigger stop loss, bigger position. Your profit is likely to get cut down, but you're also not involving too much risk. There's really no good right or wrong in that case, okay? So Aussie yen. So what I see on Aussie yen is, first of all, I want to see that. Remember, we took a few trades when this move pushed down, right? This is when a lot of us catch the first initial yen, a lot of, and then price kind of just pull back here. So what I see now here, this can be, first of all, what I see is a head and shoulder, but just not. This is the first time I see. There is a consolidation here. Looks like we're consolidating here, which is also good, right? Because this is still a clear impulse, right? After a clear impulse, price corrects, another impulse. This is another. Can we see another impulse happen? Very likely, right? You see when the impulsive move happens, they are really fast, right? But when it's in the corrective phase, they are very slow. So this thing is going to help you to identify the market a lot easier. So what I see on Aussie yen here is, if this is going to be a right shoulder, kind of a top, kind of a correction, preferably breakout and then continuation, right? So I want to actually break out of this correction, and lower time frame continuation would be ideal, and see what will happen to pretty much the lows of these previous lows. And if we can break below and continue, great. And then we're expecting this head and shoulder reversal to push the price lower. Okay, so that's what I see on Aussie yen. And we're also at this top here as well. As mentioned, from a high time frame perspective, this was the previous high before the impulse happened. Clearly, to me, we're stalling here, right? The head and shoulder to me is a little bit more visible on the higher time frame. You want to see these head and shoulder or reversal structure at the top of the overall price. You can see price has already moved up massively already, and this is the area that price is stalling, right? So that's a clue from the market. That's a clue from the price that this likely to be an area that we might get the reversal bearish kind of price action. Okay. Moving on, pound yen. Talk about pound yen in the beginning, but I thought I'd explain a little bit more. Talk about that M style pattern that I always talk about in my book, in my streams. When you see this double top area M style pattern, and on the right side of the M is very corrective, that's usually what we want to look for. Remember, there was a sell here. This is a smaller version of the M style pattern. We still got in on this sell, if we guys recall. This is the first yen sell that we got in, right? Price pushes back up, but pretty much what it did is forming a bigger structure here. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So we'll see what happens in this overall move. I know some of you guys caught the beginning of the yen pair somewhere here or somewhere here. I personally got in here, but we still kind of push down, correct, and then we push down again. So we want to see what will happen in this area. Is it going to form more correction? We're going to push lower, or we're going to see this kind of just reverse back up. But pretty much all the position I have are all in break even now. So we'll just see how the price goes. Overall, I still like this strong bearish push down. I still like that there is a continuation here. We're likely to just continue all the way down to the previous low. Okay. Pretty much no other, I want to say no other pair down over Aussie yen because someone mentioned about it, and I do point out that could be a head and shoulder. But Kiwi yen is okay. I didn't really like this kind of correction. This looked like a head up here. We push down and correct. Right, there is a smaller head and shoulder here, so that's a good confluence. But I'm already in pound yen, so I'm not really looking into other yen pairs for now. All right. So that's Kiwi yen. I just go over, like I said, head and shoulder here. Looking to see if this is going to be a continuation. We just pushed down from here. But I thought pound yen had a little bit better confluence at the time. Okay, gold. I will go over gold, guys. Give me a moment. I will finish currency first, and I'll jump into gold after. Um, So let's go over Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie, if you guys recall, Aussie Swiss pretty much mirror kind of what's going on. Euro Aussie, I've been talking about Euro Aussie for the potential long as well. If you guys recall, we talk about this descending channel for a really long time, right? So give me a second, guys. I'm just trying to see. Yeah. So descending channel, pushing the price down, and pretty much looking for a strong bullish reversal from the bottom here, right? So we actually impulse correct. This is a larger correction. We're pushing out now, which is good. And remember, we have so much room to the upside, right? This is the beginning of the correction here. It's not likely to go in one line, but it's likely to push out, correct, and push up, right? That is the tendency of the market. So I like how we're breaking out now. Okay, it's very similar like Euro Kiwi. We're breaking out now. We're breaking above. We're at this top now. So this is always an area that you need to watch out for. Preferably this continues up more, and then always the best because we're breaking this high. We broke this high, and we have continuation here to push the price higher. Okay. So I definitely like Euro Aussie. I'm in Euro 30 when it comes to price. So if we look at Euro Kiwi, similar idea, right? Descending channel. We have price pushing up on the bottom. So impulse correction, impulse correction, looking for the next impulse correction and all the way to the top here. Okay, so that's kind of my plan on this so far. When this massive bullish push up, naturally you'll be looking for a continuation correction, right? This was the first correction I was seeing, and you can see price try to push up, but correct itself. That just shows you that this alone here wasn't enough to correct all this massive push. So naturally, when we start getting a deeper correction, when you see price and the structure expand and evolve into a bigger structure, that's a good sign for us because we know that the bigger the correction goes, the bigger the correction goes, the next impulse happens, right? The next impulse happens. So always understand that a correction when it's forming, we're not 100% sure when it will finish. We never do, because if that's the case, but this is why we keep our risks at a minimum, right? We risk the same regardless of which kind of whatever trades we take, and we're pretty much have a very good risk, so you don't get price just making a erratic move, right? Because we can't control the price, we can't control the market, but what we can control is your entry, your stop loss, your take profit, and your risk management, etc. So this move, we have this kind of a descending channel pushing to the bottom of the structure, and then strong impulse up out of this correction here, and then continuation correction. I definitely see some of you guys in my Telegram are looking at this. I don't know if you guys got in, but I got in here when there's a correction here already, and I got tagged in here, and then kind of just consolidated here, but pretty much just forms a bigger continuation correction than the original one I entered. And that's why I set a pretty reasonable stop loss. I think this is 60 pips. Let me just double check. I forgot how much it is. 60 pips. Yeah. So I entered with 60 pips. Prices form a bigger correction, but that still is the one that pushes up. So that's great. And we'll see how this move goes. I like how on the higher time frame, this is clearly a impulse correction. Impulse, and this is another correction. You can to the upside now. So I do expect price to eventually reach this high. Maybe there's another correction in the middle, but eventually reach this high here. That will be pretty good risk reward. I remember it's about 7.7. So, but this is the area that we'll monitor to see if we're just going to break above and then continue, or we might just hit this and start consolidating, and I will adjust accordingly. So, okay. I mean, different ways to look at the market. I just use candles. I mean, I don't really need to use candles. I can use line. It's the same idea, right? The reason why when we look at price action, it doesn't have to be candles, or it doesn't have to be bars. It really doesn't matter, because the price action itself is always going to be there, regardless of what instrument you're looking at, right? This is kind of what I talk about all the time. If you lose different candles, sure, but ultimately the price action is always going to be there, right? You notice I'm just changing to different things, but the overall price, the overall impulses is always going to be there still. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue to Kiwi Cat. Some of you guys are looking at Kiwi Cat. So what I see on Kiwi Cat, same idea. I think being a little bit more patient here. Maybe some of you guys got stop out here. That Kiwi Cat is definitely bearish, right? We talk about Kiwi Cat all the way from the top here, right? All the way from the top when price had this massive bearish drop, right? So I know some of you guys got in here. I know there was a few in well. So whether or not you enter here or here or here, it really doesn't matter, because now all we're looking at here is if this is going to be a continuation downwards. Okay, and if we literally look at the overall price action, ascending channel, within the larger ascending channel, we have an impulse breaking out of this ascending channel, which is great, and naturally we'll be looking for a continuation here. So what do we expect from a continuation? Well, we want to see at least 2 swing highs and 2 swing low, right? This is what I always talk about. I want to use Major Pip as an example, because I saw him took a trade here and he took a loss here or something like that. That's what I mean. You have to be a little bit more careful or a little bit more patient. Is when you're looking for entry here or entry here, if it's not followed by a continuation, like this move here, right? This move here. Let me even go down to the 15. This move did not follow by a continuation. Would you guys agree? This is a sharp move down, but there's no continuation here to enter. Instead, it's just reverse back up, right? So you gotta be careful on these kind of trades. The market likes to test people's emotion, right? So they might present itself, and then the fear of missing out came in, right? Some of us probably looking at this like, well, we have a double top, going to be just pushing down from here, and am I gonna miss out this continuation? They might have entered here, but instead price reverse and take them out, right? So once you take several trades like this, you'll learn to adjust not to have FOMO. because fear of missing out is number one key why traders lose money in the market, right? So, so what do I see here now? Well, I do see there's a few swing highs and few swing lows, but remember, structures can continue to evolve and correct. Remember, we talk about we're not 100% sure when the correction finishes. We do have a very good understanding that we know this is likely to be a continuation because of the overall price condition. We know that this is likely to be a bearish continuation correction, but we don't know if this is going to finish now or this can correct here a little bit longer, like this, and then eventually drop. We don't know that, right? This is why when we enter, you always have a back of mind that, okay, well, if I enter this, if this isn't going to be an impulsive move pushing down, this can like push down to the bottom here and then reverse back up and then go down after. That's why we set to break even, or we learn to take profit, etc. That's how we secure our positions. What I see this, just wait a little bit longer because I was looking at this, is it going to be a continuation? I thought this is at least some sort of reversal correction. We pushed down, and I was looking at this to be either continuation push down. But it doesn't look like it, right? It doesn't look like this. So I'm gonna be patient, like I always said, is observe what this last bit of the area will do. If it's going to be like this, better, right? We're correcting, we're forming consolidation. We're forming consolidation at the top of this correction here, and likely we can have the next impulse. Okay, so that's what I see on Kiwi Cat, guys. I definitely wanted to get in on a bias of a sell, but I'm not rushing it. Okay. How did I learn to trade? More so on the technical analysis. I want to learn myself. There's a lot of free material out there, right? There's a lot of free material on TradingView, right? You can watch people's TradingView ideas. You can go on TradingView to watch other people's posts. You can go on YouTube. This is where I learn most. I'm showing you my stuff, but I'm not saying you have to watch my stuff. I'm just showing you. There's a lot, and you can join people's Telegram, right? The people post different things, but just beware of scammers. I want to say scammers because a lot of scam people's emotion. They show you what you want to see, and you might buy into what they're showing you. So be careful on that, especially if you're relatively new to trading, because that's what they target you on, because they know to fall for the typical traps, right? Typical profit, money, things like that, where they're going to show you. They're going to tell you that it's easy if you learn from me or if you buy the course from me, and that's not the case, right? So last I want to go over Kiwi Swiss. Took a little bit longer time. So Kiwi Swiss also talk about this very similar like Euro Kiwi. We had this, first of all, a impulse down. We have an impulse down from here, correction. We impulse down again, and there is kind of a flag correction I want to point out. So this flag correction is a continuation, nevertheless, right? We continue the price here. So impulse correction, we impulse down. So we're getting pretty close to this low now. So you want to be a little bit more careful. Preferably price break the low here and then continue to the downside after. That would be something we want to see. Okay. Wrap up all the currency here, guys. Any question here? Yeah, I'm not jumping to commodity. A little bit behind schedule, but I'll speed up a little bit. So no question. Thank you. All right, let's continue here. So gold, I briefly went over this in the weekly outlook. I'm gonna say the same thing is I'm not interested in the buy here. I know a lot of you guys were probably see a lot of people saying buy, 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 buy. I'm not really looking to buy because just from experience, this is the previous high here, okay? This is still a downtrend move. What push up to this high here, it completes a structure now, right? It pretty much completes a continuation correction here, and there's a likelihood this is going to move down after. Okay, just from experience, okay, a lot of people get trapped. Yes, there is a double bottom. Yes, this is pushing up, but they forgot to see the overall trend, right? This is still a very sharp downtrend, and this is the previous high. Even the first previous high is getting rejected. So this can push up, even break the high. It really doesn't matter. But what it ends up happening is if we're going to see reversal price action from here, it pretty much becomes a correction on its own to correct either this move or the overall down move like this, and still expecting the next bearish move continuation. Okay, the only difference here is if we can see price just bullishly break above, impulsively followed by continuation, then yes, that will be a key sign to buy and look for a buy to the top here. That will be ideal. But until that happens, this is why I'm a bit more developing, because I'm not interested in buying here. I really don't see the buy here, especially we're getting close to this previous high where we're likely to be forming a correction here. Okay, so that's my I'm not interested in the buy or sell. I just want to see what price will do in this top area here. Okay. Pound dollar I went over earlier. I can go over afterwards, but yeah. Hey, it's DA Capital Trading. Nice to see you, buddy. Not much else on silver. I do want to talk. Sorry, I do want to talk about oil. Talk about oil still in this consolidation, but this is pretty much what I was waiting for. Is to wait for this strong oil breakout from here, and then waiting to see what will happen in this continuation correction. So the more it corrects, the better it is for us to potentially look for the next downwards, right? So what action will complete? If we can see a breakout followed by lower time frame continuation, that will be something I'll be looking for. Because we already pushed down quite a bit. If we really look at how far we pushed down, $10 already per barrel, right? So I think that's a pretty big jump, pretty big drop. So naturally, a consolidation, a correction here is very likely. And the longer it corrects, the better it is for the next down move, right? We always talk about impulsive followed by corrective, followed by the next impulsive phrase. So that's something I will be waiting for the week ahead or the remaining of the week and this month. All right. So that's commodities. Hey, thanks DA Capital. Appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Elon, do you have any specific place you can point to me for material or content you consider quality help for beginner traders? You can look at my content if it all makes sense to you. If you like what I'm saying here, you can go on TradingView, you can go on YouTube, right? You can go on my TradingView. I post analysis here. I have a lot of educational videos, so you can watch those as well. You can watch most of my price action stuff on my YouTube, right? If you go on my playlist, price action structures, this is where you're gonna learn all my price action structures and patterns, etc. So you can learn about risk management. I talk about risk management here. I also talk about trading psychology. I think this is probably the most important side of things. I coach so many people that I understand that learning the technical part is the hardest. I think what most people fail on is not on the technical aspect of it. It's actually the psychological aspect. So why your perception on trading is okay, because a lot of us are just trying to get in the market and then trying to get rich quick, which is what social media portrays so trading is. And when you have a mindset trying to quick from trading, it usually backfires. It usually backfires so much that you overtrade, revenge trade, and etc. Right? So you gotta think about from a long-term sustainability approach. Trading is not a get rich quick, and this is always the intention I'm trying to do all these videos, all these lessons that I do is because I'm trying to tell people that trading can be sustainable and consistent if you understand what you're looking for. But a lot of people who got in trading may or may not be affected by what they see out there, and they think that's how trading should be. They thought they're doing something wrong if they're not making profits off the profits like those social media gurus. But that's not the case. You don't know if they're trading real or they're just trading demo. You don't know if they're actually trader or they're just trying to sell you something, right? So really be smart when it comes to those areas. Don't let the money take over you, okay? So that's a bunch of Forex pairs already, okay? So I'll go back afterwards. What age did I start trading? This is my eighth year in trading. So I started in 132. I don't even remember my age. I'm 89, so that's 31 or 32. It should be 31. So I started 23, I think. 23. This is my eighth year in trading year, so I've been trading. But just understand, you're not likely to be a guru or someone that is profitable in the first 1 year or 2 years, really. Right? I'm giving my honest feedback. I are consistently profitable in the first like 1 or 2 years, but that's like your learning curve, right? You're learning to be a better trader during those first few years. But most traders won't get past the first few years because they're overtrade, blow their account, or they got really emotional. They start thinking this isn't the right thing for them, and they move on to other things. That happens, right? It's like any profession, right? People start a profession first, like you start a job. After you try it out for a couple years, you don't like it anymore, and you move on, right? It's kind of same thing as trading. What's worse is trading actually likely to make a lot of new traders, and that's why they deviate from it because they start losing money. They start thinking, well, this isn't easy as it sounds, things like that, right? So, um, but for people who makes it, right? People who make it, people who focus on consistency, sustainability approach, they're the one that's likely to be around after many years, and they're likely to be around after more years, right? So think about in that. You're not trying to make massive money in 1 year and quit trading, which is what I think a lot of traders are like. Well, these gurus are telling me they make so much money, I should be doing the same. Not likely, right? And not likely, and they end up trading the wrong way. They blew a few of their trading accounts and then they give up on trading, right? I think that's what the usual cycle of traders when they get in. So I can only try to do experience my honest, transparent approach. I can't change what social media portrays trading as is, right? Everybody is showing profits, everyone's showing their money buying cars, buying luxuries, typical industry standard, right? And you don't even know if they're traders or not, really. There can just be a business using trading as a theme for them to sell things, and they're not even traders themselves. Okay, so be um, to fall into those scamming things out there. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna talk about crypto now. So I'm gonna talk about crypto now. So over Binance Coin, Binance Coin is one of the crypto I'm in. So talk about this move up already, right? When we have that higher time frame impulse, higher time frame correction, and we break out of that correction. So I always look for these type of entries, correction after breakout. Mentioned this all the time in my ebook. This is a clear correction after breakout entry that I always look for. So price is pushing up now. Originally, I had the take profit at the 400 mark, but it did not. When I saw the move pretty impulsively, and this is what I update in the weekly outlook. I mentioned that if the price continue to push up higher impulsively, I will look to extend my take profit because I wanna still be in this next impulsive run on the higher time frame. So I want to see this impulsive run to continue. And that's why I moved my target a little bit higher to the 500 mark. And we see a little bit sharp decline, okay? And that's why I mentioned I set an alert here just to see if this is going to continue upwards higher. If it does, great, because that's what I'm going to hold it for. But if it does not, if it kind of start falling back and forming bearish continuation correction like this, then I'll exit the trade for about 3% or so. So that's my plan, that's my method. If you enter a trade, always know your entry point, your stop loss, your take profit, always understand what kind of management approach you're going to take instead of making emotion, which is what a lot of new traders do. They enter a trade, they have no idea why they enter, and they exit the trade because it dropped down, but they have no idea why they exit. Okay, so be prepared for any market condition, be prepared for any kind of development so that you're prepared to adjust to what the market is doing. Okay, we cannot control the market, everyone. We really cannot, right? There's no point trying to hope that this is going to go off or this is going to go down. Really doesn't matter. The market is not going to listen to you, right? It's going to move whatever it wants to do. So make peace with yourself, make peace with the market. It's going to help you in the long run. All right. So let's move on to a couple other crypto that I'm looking at. They mostly had kind of bearish kind of move on the lower time frame. I'm looking for in the higher time frame perspective. So we'll take a look at DOT USD, so Polka Dot. I still like that we have this higher time frame continuation. This is a continuation correction, and we're looking to break out now. So we did have this impulse breakout, which is kind of what I was looking for, and was waiting to see if this is going to be a continuation, price higher. So definitely like what I'm seeing here on DOT. I did recall my last weekly outlook, I was saying that I was going to be looking for entry here. I was going to look for a buy if I see the buy breakout here, but this kind of just pushes down. So it kind of making a little bit more expanding structure, but it can still be a continuation. So I'm still going to wait and see what will happen here. Okay. Um, What's better to have a take profit and trailer stop loss? You can use both, right? You can have a take profit and then you can have a trailer stop loss at the same time, if that works for you. I personally don't use trailer stop, but there's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against people who uses it. It's up to you if that fits your plan, right? If you have worked with trailer stop in the past and do you like that fact that it's moving up and it might take you out or choke the price for the price to move, as long as you're okay with that, then use it accordingly, right? So just follow you, dude. Brilliant content. I appreciate that. I'll go over those after when I go over my main ones, okay? So let's talk about Ethereum. So Ethereum, we broke the Ethereum all-time high here, right? This was the previous all-time high. Okay, so I like how we have an impulse down, reversal correction. We have an impulse up, continuation, and we're breaking up now. If we can break this all-time high, right, which is what we're doing now, we break the all-time high here, and if there's more continuation here, I definitely see this going to go up higher. Okay, so that's something that I will be looked for as well. Keeping an eye on this. I still like this is making a consolidation rather than just a quick reversal but downwards. We're at this all-time high, which is why I always want to pay attention to, because when you're at this all-time high level top area, there's only going to be two things, right? It's either this is going to be some sort of reversal correction, we're just going to go down, or this is going to be a continuation correction, and we're going to go up after this area. And because of what I'm seeing, this last bit of the kind of a price action, I definitely favor or I have a bias for a continuation after. Okay. Moving on. So I do want to talk about Litecoin as well. I think Litecoin is also something I'm looking at. This we're finally breaking out of this higher time frame kind of structure, right? If we look at how the price has already moved up from the bottom, it's always in some sort of a pennant, some sort of expanding structure. If we notice, this is always kind of what we've been making for the price to push up. So same idea here, right? Smaller pennant here to enter, and now we're looking at this as a larger kind of a pennant structure here, and we're finally pushing out of the structure, right? This is kind of what I was waiting for, is to have a push out from here and see if this here, and then see if we can just break above this previous high and continue up and more to come. What's written there? I think it's a board on your left side. You're talking about this picture on here, right? This is what it says. It says, you can see there's a tree there. It says success on the top, success. So if you can see, this is what you're talking about here, right? So success, and underneath it says hard work, persistence, late nights, rejections, sacrifices, discipline, criticism, doubts, failure, risk. So what is this telling you? It's pretty much what we see when we see successful people, when we see successful thing, we see the tree, but we don't see how much work has been put in on the bottom, right? You don't know how much hard work they put in, the late night they put in, the sacrifices, the discipline, the criticism they get from everyone, the failure and the risk involved. I don't see any of that. We don't see any of that from a tree because it's all hidden, it's all underneath there. All we see is the success part, but we don't know how much is put into it. Okay, so that is my picture there. I think it directly reflects on everything we do, especially trading. I'm just tired of seeing people who want the easy way out in trading, thinking they can just get in and make a lot of money without putting any work in. Any profession, any job, any business requires people to put in time and effort, right? It's not just in trading, but a lot of people thinking trading should be super easy. They see all these people making money, they think they should do the same, but it's really not the same, right, guys? So that is my motto, that is my MO, that is what I always tell my students or people that follow me is put in the time and effort, right? If you don't put in the time and effort, it's not gonna come to you. It really isn't. Okay, so that is why I have it up there. That's always what I'm following still in terms of mindset, in terms of emotions. Yes, thank you for reminding us the time and patience this takes. It really does, okay? It doesn't come so fast. I'm sorry to say. Maybe some of you guys are really, really smart and really, really disciplined in controlling your emotion and trading psychology. Maybe it makes more sense for you to acknowledge. That's great. But a lot of us are not likely to be that, right? I'm just saying a lot of us are not likely to be that well to just uh, pretty much become a master or become a guru, right? It takes years of time, and that's what it is. So let's move on here a little bit. I do want to talk about Neo because Neo, we broke the high now, right? So we talk about Neo uh, pushing the price up. I was looking at this as a continuation correction. We pushed above this high now, which is great. This was the high that was in. Here is it going to be bigger consolidation? That would be good to see. If it does not, well, we want to wait for a little bit more development from the price because we push up very massively already. So actually, it's waiting to see a deeper correction, a deeper consolidation here. We broke the high though, so I think that's very good to keep an eye on. Okay. I do want to talk about Tron. I think this is the question a lot when Tron pushes up. When Tron pushes up and everybody is messaging me to say, should I be buying here? Should I be buying here? Should I be buying here? I'm like, no, you should not, because when the price pushes up so massively already, this little small correction really isn't going to be the one pushing up. It's not likely to do that, right? What it's likely to do now, which is kind of what we're seeing, is a deeper correction, a deeper consolidation before the next up move. Okay, I know people still got in here. I know people still took losses here, and this is why the emotion, the fear of missing out really needs to be a work on, right? Yes, we see the bullish results, great. A 5-minute, 15-minute chart because you see a correction, because it's not likely to be the one that's going to take off. What it's likely to do is exactly what we have seen. Deeper correction the next up move. That is what is likely to happen. Okay. So that is Trong and Stellar. Well, I'm still in Stellar. I didn't get tagged out here from my broker. I'm still at break even. There's no point for me to take one-to-one. I think this is just not enough profit to take one-to-one. I was still holding this. I still like the overall kind of trend. We talk about Stellar from the bottom here, pushing up and very bullish kind of price action. This latest price action descending channel, very lovely because with descending channel, it's a very good reversal. And we finally see an impulse correction and impulse up, right? This is kind of my entry here, was waiting for a consolidation here. And it did push up and then it just had a very sharp move down. So to me, kind of no point trying to exit the position now. I'll just hold it for break even. If this tags me out for break even, that's fine. I'm happy to take a break even. But if this can continue going upwards, then I'll look to hold. Okay, so that is Stellar. And last one. So Ripple push up massively, right? Push up massively here. And naturally, it's the same approach as Tron, right? When it push up massively here, I just don't think there is these small buys, especially you just have to see how much has the price push up, right? So like 50 cents literally. So that's like 100%. It's pretty much double in like a couple days, right? In like days literally. So naturally we're gonna form deeper correction. This is what I always say. When price form a correction after we break out this correction, we have the next impulse up. And naturally, when it's pushed up this much already, then we're expecting a deeper correction before the next up move. Okay. So that is Ripple. That is Ripple. Um, are there? Let me reading these questions, guys. Sorry, I missed these. Are there always three corrections after a breakout from a small ascending or descending triangle shape before the next impulsive move? Um, I guess I meant are usually most of the time three small correction before the next beat move. It makes not make sense. No, it's not always like that. Maybe you're looking at this Binance coin. I'm not sure which one you're looking at to. It's not always like that, to be honest. It's not always like that. It's just happened to be like that, maybe in this examples. But if we look at Bitcoin, which we break out here, it's not always the same. All I'm trying to say is it's not three. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not. So, but be listening to me this whole stream is what you should look for is a structure completion would always have at least two swing highs and two swing lows. That's all you need to remember. When we look at structure, large or small doesn't really matter. After following an impulsive move, there are always going to be at least two swing highs and two swing low to classify, to categorize it as a structure, and in order for the next impulsive move to happen. Okay, so that's something that you should remember and keep an eye on. You see, doesn't matter how big or how small the structure or correction is, it's always going to be at least two swing highs and two swing lows, right? If you notice any structures that I draw in, it's always going to be that same kind of criteria when you're looking for a correction. Okay. Like I said, not one or two or three. It really is not something you can count on. It's more like It can just create zero correction and just take off, or it can create 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't really matter, right? But what you should know is, like I said, is about how I classify a correction here. Um, any recommendation books you read on price action or any FX book you read when you started? I'll be honest, I didn't read any books. I didn't read any books that are written. I think the only book I read is Trading in the Zone. I'm sure you guys all hear this book. Trading in the Zone is a book that's been around for a while, but that's not even to do with technical. That's more to do with mindset. I didn't read any book. I mostly do trading views content on other people. I mostly watch a lot of YouTube videos on other people's explanation of things. And obviously, from your own experience, you're going you're going to come up with your own way of analyzing the market. It's like someone who trades support resistance. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys are trading support resistance. So if someone trades support resistance, everyone's going to have variation, right? Okay, support resistance. Even I don't trade support resistance, but I know that you should have at least 3 previous support resistance, right? So, but even that, people can have variation of it, right? Or people who use indicators, right? EMA lines or MA lines, a bunch of things on the bottom, RSI, MACD, or whatever, right? People use. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you have a strategy that you implement in. I always talk about, in my opinion, most strategy probably do work. It's the person who's executing them. Does he or she follow that strategy? Does he or she understand what they're doing, instead of just entering the trades without really following their strategy? Because sometimes people enter trades that doesn't fall into their strategy or plan, and then they take a loss and they will blame their strategy, but really they don't really go through, they don't journal their trades, they don't really look back at their trades to think about, well, why did I enter this trade? This trade doesn't even fit my plan. So really, it's not the strategy or the style that is at fault. It's actually Cardano. Yes, let's talk about Cardano. I'm still kind of looking at Cardano for a potential bullish run. I think we all agree that pushing up. So Cardano, well, this is a massive bullish push, right? Ever since from the bottom here, I got it on bottom here. Those of you guys who follow me, I took a pretty good trade here for the top here. But pretty much what we're seeing now is a bigger consolidation in the making, right? This is that bigger consolidation. So what do we expect from here? Well, I mentioned a post here, if I can get it out. So I see this 2 different ways. I see either a move down to complete a structure here to move up afterwards, or if this just breaks up afterwards and if there's continuation here, then I like to see a bullish continuation from the price. We're not really getting that. You can see it pop to the upside, but there is no correction here. I think this is always the important part is I'm waiting for a correction. There's really no correction to push higher, right? Like that. Still reasonably within this larger higher time frame correction. Preferably, it is the move down is something that I will be looking for a reversal up. But if this breaks up continuation, sure, that is still a valid buy as well. But in my opinion, right now, it's not ready. It's still consolidating in this correctional phase. Okay. Try making triangle. Sure. I mean, everyone draws structure price action differently. I'm just looking at it this way. You might have drawn it this way or something. I don't know. Really doesn't matter. But I'm seeing it this way. So, but most importantly, just we're not seeing the impulsive phrase here yet, right? I think we all agree. It doesn't matter how we draw it. This area is not impulsive yet to break out, right? So. On TradingView, do you put alerts on where to trade? I do use alert, but I don't even use it that much, to be honest. Like, I think the only alert I have is like what I'm trying to say is I don't use alert because I look at the screens every day. I look at the charts pretty much every day, multiple times during the day, so I don't really need alert. What I will use alert is usually for entries. Like if I was looking for an entry, let's just say for example, I was looking at Binance Coin. When I was looking for a entry after price broke out, like something like this, when I was looking at entry after price broke out, um, I'll set an alert after it broke out, right? So I'll set an alert there, and then I will know that price broke out now. So I'll pay more attention now to see if there's going to be a correction they're making and look to be in. Okay, so, but most of the time I don't really use alert. You can see I only have one alert, which is this, because I talk about if this forms a bearish correction like this, I want to alert. I'm not even going to put alert. I'm just going to let the trade run. Okay. Who is your mentor? Did you join any community? I didn't join any community. I didn't have any mentor. I think it's just learning by yourself, right? There's a lot of free material out there that you guys can use, right? I know I keep flipping to my material, but I'm sure there's a lot out there that you can see, right? There's a lot of free material out there. You shouldn't be paying someone right away, especially they haven't shown you any results or progress or anything, right? Don't fall for those money things anymore, right? If you go on like Facebook, you go on Instagram, don't you guys always see those people flashing money and flashing cars, flashing their profits? Like that's what people do these days. But the more they do that, the more they look like they're not traders. Let's be honest, right? The more they do that, the more they look like they're not traders, right? They're just trying to target innocent victims to buy into their stuff. So make sure when you look at these things on social media, make sure you actually find value in there, right? Like you go on YouTube, someone can be flashing. If you just search Forex trading, I'm sure there's going to be people flashing. And you can search Forex trading, you can find people who are actually explaining things, actually giving out valuable content. You should be able to distinguish that right away, right? So use your time wisely on the value content rather than focus on people showing you what you want to see, which is money, success, profit, cars, homes, right? Luxury goods. That's what they use people's emotion as their weapon, because people usually be like, well, I want to make sure that I can get all that. So if this person is showing me that he can do it, then I must be able to do it. But this is 2021 now, guys, right? These things work maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. They shouldn't be working now. But if they're still around, that means people are still falling into victim of that, right? And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Don't fall for those scams or gurus or things like that. It's really not easy, and it's not the same as them before seeing some of their actual results, right? Um, if you're going to buy into people things, make sure they have tangible things. Like I would say, at least you should trading. You should be at least posting charts or years of on trading view. A lot of them just joined like half year ago and then trying to build up their account, right? You should have something like that to prove that they've been around for a while. They should have consistent approach. They should probably give you a journal every month to see their progress, right? Things like that. So. Litecoin, yes, I do follow Litecoin, and I talk about Litecoin as well. This is pretty much what I see on Litecoin now. We broke out, we pushed out massively. Now it's just to see if this is going to be some sort of correction here to continue higher. We break out now, so which is good. It's looking to see what will happen here to give us another push up from the price. Okay. These random people are charging, people buy into them still, right? I mean, it's pretty easy to fake a lot of things these days. We're in 21st century, people can Photoshop, they can do anything. It's too fake, right? Just in trading, if you guys realize on social media, a lot of things are not true. If you look at Instagram, do you still believe that picture that they take is actually their lifestyle, right? You shouldn't believe that anymore, because not the case anymore. So be a little bit more um, more smarter on those things. Don't buy into these things when if it's too good to be true, it's likely to be that, right? So how do I determine profit target like LTC? A few ways. I make a video about this. You can watch this on my risk management. There's a video on how to take profit for your trade. But usually what I do, um, usually what I do, this is a okay. Let me give you a better example. So if I was looking to enter a trade, well, first of all, I won't trade through this previous high. So I want to see price break above this previous high first and enter something like this. And my first target, if I look at the higher time frame, is going to be the next swing high area, right? This is already the same swing high area of this, so that doesn't count that. This is going to be the next swing high area. So that will be my first target, and this is going to be second. For Litecoin as the example though, right? Not all this kinds. If it's something else, let's say Binance Coin, what I do for Binance Coin is target will be always of that higher time frame correction. So beginning of this higher time frame correction. And because this is already at all-time high, so that's why I choose this kind of management approach is if we're already broke all-time high, then there's no other previous high to look at, right? So I would just look at purely on the lower time frame development. If it's going to give me any bearish price action, this is why I mentioned Binance Coin. I sent you alert here because we already broke all-time high. I'm going to watch if this is going to turn into some sort of lower time frame structure to push down lower. Then I'll exit the trade accordingly. If it does not, if it continue higher, then that's why I set the target a little bit higher. Okay. Indices. Did I not go over indices today? I apologize. Yeah, let's wrap it up with indices now. I'm sorry, I totally forgot to go over indices. So what I see on NASDAQ, well, this is the all-time high here. And I mentioned about when price broke out this kind of a right shoulder, the inverse head and shoulder, and kind of a flag channel, we're likely to see the push up to all the way high. So I don't know if you guys got in. I mentioned I'm not interested in these buys. I think the buys are just going to be to here. That's not something I like to get involved. And sorry, and then to me, this high here is still going to be an area of interest in me because if this pushes like break above, continue it, it doesn't break above and continue, then I want to see if there's a possible sell from the high here. That's just how I trade because when we see double like these, when we can move up correctively to this double top, there is likely to be a potential sell. That's kind of how I see. But only this bias will only change if we break the high impulsively and then continuation. Then that shows you that this previous high is no longer valid. This double top is now valid, and we're going to see the next bull run from most of the indices. Okay? So S&P 500. The only thing I'm looking at is I'm still seeing the price in this kind of a higher time frame, kind of ascending channel or expanding structure. And I want to see what to break above very impulsively and continue, or we're going to move up correctively to this top and then a sharp drop down. If you notice any of the indices, if you do a lot of back testing, you'll know all the indices move this way. When they accumulate this kind of move up, right? This is accumulation, up, 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 and then sharp drop, right? This is the same accumulation, sharp drop. If we look at coronavirus, accumulation moving up, 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 and then sharp drop. This is how the indices always move. If you do some don't just believe my words. Do some back testing on this. Look at the price. You'll notice that is how these indices always move. So pretty much is waiting to see if we're going to get the same thing like that. Okay. Dow Jones, well, same idea here. I originally say this impulse correction is just going to impulse out and then invalid everything we see here. Well, this doesn't look like a very strong to me. This is moving up nevertheless, but this can be argued that this is kind of what I'm seeing now. It's more of a ascending structure here. Okay, so what I would ultimately want to see is if this area can finish correcting, at least some sort of correction here, and we can expect that bearish sell opportunity. It's again, same thing as coronavirus, same thing as all these previous price action that we have seen. We want to see reversal structure from the very top because when the drop happens, it's going to be very sharp, right? We notice that's how the most of the indices move anyways. I made a video about backtesting indices as well. Make sure you can watch that to see what I mean here. But that's what I see on most of the indices. I'm not interested in the buy. You're already at all-time high here. You're not buying from a dip, right? What buying from the dip here, which is probably the smarter move, but you shouldn't be buying here when it's already at all-time high because very likely we're just gonna go see that sharp drop, which is what these tend to move. They're moving to all-time high, they break all-time high, but they start being in a corrective phase. That's when you gotta watch out for that next bearish reversals. Okay, so that's Dow Jones, and that's pretty much all the indices I'm looking at. I'm not too much, just these three. So, do you have other business beside trading? I do. I do have other things going on. I don't really want to talk too much about it, but you should naturally don't. Here's what I mean. Trading should be a passive income, but it shouldn't be your only income. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. It should be one of your passive income, but you can have multiple incomes, right? You can have different incomes in different areas. I always ask people to don't be a trading snob. Don't just think trading is the best. I only need to focus on trading. When you're good at trading, start branching out into other areas because that's when you have more time to do other things. People do real estate, people do other things, etc. Right? So I think I missed some of the question here. Just scrolling up here. Um, Crypto. I really don't see too much here. Maybe there is some sort of consolidation here, but I don't like how there's all these swing motions. Um, because this looks like an impulse up and then a reversal impulse down. Like this can be a continuation like this, and I don't really like to sell crypto. Okay, so this doesn't look as clean as the couple ones that we look at. I think there's a couple one I miss above. Doge, not really interesting in Doge. I know we all look at Doge because of Elon Musk, but I'm not really seeing much technical here anymore. This more looks like the one I just went over. We have an impulse up, reversal impulse. Looks like this is a bearish continuation. Okay, so I'm not too interested in this. Uh, VRA, BTC. Not too much data here, but it looks like we are getting continuation here, right? There's a continuation correction here to push the price higher, and then looks like there's another continuation here. So that looks good, but there's no too much data. I think this is relatively new. I want to see further data, but just solely looking at this, sure, this can be another bullish continuation to go higher. Okay, so that's about it, guys. Any other question for me? Any other question on anything trading? Um, does Neo look good? Yeah, I think Neo looks great. I talk about Neo from here that the point is we broke this previous high, right? I like how we had a bigger consolidation and we broke the previous high. We broke the previous high. So now is to see if there's going to be continuation to go higher. Oil, I do look for short. I do like to be looking for sell oil. Talk about oil from the top here. We already had that strong impulse down, and then there's potentially a continuation correction here in the making. So I will be waiting to see if this correction completes, and then breakout, and then lower time frame continuation to go. Okay. CHR, is that crypto? Yeah. I don't see too much here. This is a move up, but I don't like this kind of price action here. You can argue. I try to draw a structure here. I don't even see a structure. Um, you can argue this developing. This is not as bullish as where we see a couple other cryptos. So I'm not really seeing much here. I don't even want to say this is a correction. Okay, so I think this area needs a little bit. It's definitely consolidating. That's a good thing, but it's hard to tell which direction this consolidation is going to lead towards. So, Nasdaq, I just went over, my friend. I went over Nasdaq really quickly there. That we already see this breakout from this price shoulder here that I talk about in the weekly outlook. So impulse correction, impulse. Sure, there is looking like there's a correction here, but I really wouldn't take a trade when it's already approaching all-time high. Obviously, it can just break all-time high and continue, but my bias here is if this move goes up correctively to this high here, I'm actually looking for a potential sell actually. So I'm not interested in this high, even though there looks like there is a bullish. Okay. What I think LPC if it's long term, I think that's the wrong question to ask. I think you just have to think of it as, are you trading or are you investing in crypto? There's a two different meanings, right? If you're trading, then you're trading to get in and get out, right? If you're investing, like you're holding the coins for long term, that really doesn't matter because it clearly is in a bullish trend, right? So if you're just investing, putting in, changing your money into a crypto as in a put in the wallet, then really doesn't matter because we're clearly in a bullish trend. Maybe this will take months or years, but likely we're just going to break all-time high and continue. But if you're trading, then that's what I'm saying. If you're trading, then you need to watch out for your entries, your stop loss, your management, etc. Right? I would wait for price to break this previous high and then continuation. Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. These couple EX. PDX, is that crypto or like is GDX gold? I never look at gold this way. You're talking about gold, right? Okay. I look at gold from a CFD point of view, but it should be the same. So I talk about gold. I'm not interested in the buy here. This is the previous high area. What it's looking like it's going to push up here, but just to form a bigger correction, like a bigger continuation correction for the downward bearish move. That's why I don't really like it. It's just from experience. I know I mentioned this a few times. This looks like more as a corrective kind of phrase. Okay, so this can move up here, completes a correction, and then move down afterwards, pretty much making this impulsive move a corrective fashion and go down lower. So the only thing that will change my bias if this move pushes up above this previous high and then continuation correction to go. Other than that, I'm just going to monitor this area to see what will happen. EGLD. I want to say I'm not seeing too much here. After an impulsive move, I want to see some sort of continuation or some sort of consolidation. There's a few ways of looking at this. You can see it as this way, or you can see it as this way, right? It's a little bit unclear of what the price is doing. Okay, so I rather just wait, right? Rather wait for this price to break above and then continue. That's going to be better. Other than that, this is just a little bit indecisive. When I look at this overall, I would prefer to see a little bit more development on this area. It's not really clear. This looks like a correction. This looks like a correction. It's not as clear to me, right? But I do see the merit of a bullish move because this looks like an impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse. But I'm not sure about this area and not about the over phrase in this area here. Okay. Um, last one, go over 1 inch. Okay. I did make a 1 inch thing. So I was looking at the same thing. This is an impulsive move. This is a corrective phrase, and then look like we break out first. But again, I always talk about when we break out, was there continuation correction? If there isn't, then we shouldn't to jump in like that, right? And that's kind of what happened here is we break above, but there's no continuation. We kind of just drop down now. So be careful in this area. Okay, I'm not looking for a buy here. I prefer to see a bigger consolidation if that's going to happen. So we know that if this breakout doesn't form a continuation, what it's simply telling us is we're forming a deeper correction. This can move down once more and then pushes up after. So be patient on this one if this doesn't seem to be the one that's going to break out and then continue with the price here. Okay. So that is it, guys. That is it. Any other question from me? I'm going to wrap it up here very soon. I'm going to wrap it up here on everything. Over here. Um, I'm just going over the positions again that I'm live on. So pound dollar looks like we had a push and then push down. Good. Um, running about 1.5, I think. Pound yen is running about 2%. Euro Kiwi is like 1.5 or something. So 3 live position in Forex, and then I have Binance Coin and Stellar running. So I'm looking at this right now. If this is going to trigger down, I'm looking to exit the trade for about 3%. Stellar looks like it's going to hit back to the break-even point, and that's fine. So that's the updates on crypto and then the updates on currency. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate everyone following me or new guys coming in today on the streams. If you like what I'm seeing, make sure you can follow my trading view, my YouTube, and my Telegram. That's where I update everything. I can go over this quickly. All my streams, all my lessons, all my analysis. You can join my Telegram. You can subscribe my trading view because that's where I post all my charts, all my analysis as well. And YouTube is where all my educational videos are going to be here. Them, so you can take a look on them as well. And any of the streams you watch me on, you can always rewatch them on YouTube. You can rewatch them on YouTube itself, or you can watch them trading view here in my stream tab. Okay. So that's about it, guys. That is about it for me. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate everyone's here, and hope to chat with you guys next time. Hope to see you guys all next time. I will do a weekly trade recap video, which is what I do every weekend to talk about all the trades I've taken, both win or losses, to be showing a transparent, honest approach. And I will also do a weekly trade recap outlook video on Sunday, which is what I go over the market. All right, everyone. So thank you very much. I hope everyone will have a good weekend, and then hope to see you guys all next time. All right. Thank you very much.